So welcome. Okay, welcome to the Larkspur Planning Commission meeting of Tuesday, June 13. Could we please have a roll call?
Chair Chalmers,
Present.
Commissioner Swisher,
Here.
Commissioner Wagstaff,
Here.
Commissioner Williamson,
Here.
and Commissioner Campbell.
Here.
Everyone's present.
Thank you. So do we have any public comment on matters not on the agenda? One person in the public here. Do we have anyone on Zoom? No. Do not. Okay. No. Right. Okay. Could we please have the planning director's report?
Thank you. The City Council upheld the Planning Commission decision regarding 93 Magnolia and denied the appeal that was particularly focused on the 2 driveway cuts for that new residence. And I have nothing else to report.
Right, thank you. In that case, we'll go straight into the public hearing portion of our meeting tonight. We have 2 items on the agenda. The first one is 388 Britannia Way in Greenbrae, PLN 23004. And if we could please have the staff report.
Thank you, Chair Chalmers. All right, tonight I'll be presenting, this is project 230004 for 388 Britannia, requesting a design review and a slope use permit. This is a parcel that is located in the Greenbrae subdivision of Larkspur. The project proposes a combined grading of 170 cubic yards that's required to accommodate the construction and installation of retaining walls, extension to an existing deck, installation of a level artificial turf area, a level paver patio in the rear yard, and construction of an unenclosed stairway in the westerly side yard. That is in italics on this presentation. Your staff report incorrectly states that the stairway is proposed in the easterly side yard. It is in the westerly side yard. Additionally, they're requesting design review. Any project that requires discretionary approval also requires design review. So 388 Britannia is an existing residence that was constructed in 2018. As you can see, they do not have any improvements in the backyard. When they built the house, they just put on a very small deck in the rear yard area. Today, they're coming into proposed grading so they can have a more usable backyard area. Here's elevations showing the west. So here's the stairway that has been proposed. The stairway does meet setbacks. All of the proposed work meets setbacks. The deck would be extended. There would be grading here to install the paver patio. And on the other side, on the easterly side, the level artificial turf area. The applicants have proposed a total of 170 cubic yards of cut and fill with 20 cubic yards of off haul. The project does conform to the natural state requirements. Additionally, outside departments have reviewed their grading, erosion control, and drainage plans. The city engineers have reviewed the grading, the geotechnical and soil reports, including the borings. The erosion control and the drainage plan are shown here. They plan to collect all of their draining and PVC collectors that are going to go into an existing drainage swale. Here you can see a better overview. Also, this is up here, the paver area that's being proposed, the artificial turf, the existing deck, which is going to be extended to the east and then also to the south in the rear yard. The proposed stairway does not propose any additional entrances. It will only go up to that rear deck. So staff believes that the findings can be made to support this project. A neighbor did write in with a public comment regarding potential privacy concerns. I've spoken with both the applicant and the residents of 380 Britannia. The residents of 380 Britannia told me that they went with the applicants on site. They discussed the potential privacy impacts. They've come to a common agreement. The agreement involves additional privacy screening in this area right here. So what they've talked about is putting in a small trellis so that some of the existing vegetation can have something to kind of grow up and onto, which would cover the area where it's kind of open and is providing views into each other's backyards. So with that, staff believes the findings can be made to support the project as proposed and recommends approval of the project based on the draft findings, the CEQA exemption, and subject to the conditions of approval. Or you could give the applicant direction to make modifications as you see fit, and we could continue the project to a date certain or uncertain. And that concludes my staff report.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Do we have the applicant or the architect available to present? Okay.
You might need to turn it on.
Test. Okay. So I'm Jesse Turcott. I'm the owner and an applicant here. My wife, Erin, and I moved into 388 Bertano in 2020. We built the house and went through this process. I think recognize some of you from that process back then. So nice to see you again. This is a proposed phase 2, which is a backyard improvement project. We're expanding our deck. It's a hillside property, so we need to put in retaining walls, concrete retaining walls. We're using the same person that helped us with our retaining walls for our house. So there's continuity there, which is really nice. We're excited about it. There's a paver patio as well and a turf area that we're proposing. We've now got 2 little ones under the age of 3. So my wife, who's been a lot of the brains of this operation, is actually home taking care of them right now, but wishes she could be here. And then we did have David Riedel, who's our next door neighbor, and Annie, who I thought might have been here, but looks like she couldn't make it. So David came over last week actually to talk about this privacy concern. We actually had a similar concern. It was sort of like we can sort of see right into each other's backyards. The vegetation right there, David actually was his idea, is a great idea. You can see it's like reaching out for something. So we're going to put a small little trellis in between, and it should just grab onto that, and that will fill that little gap right there. And we should be good. There's other vegetation that provides privacy amongst the rest of it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions for the applicant?
How'd you do with the rain this year with your property? Did you manage okay?
We did, yeah. We have a French drain going along the back perimeter of our house. So I think a lot of this drainage goes right into that and that out onto the street. And it's all new, new construction. So we thankfully didn't have any issues.
Yeah, and so with the new deck, obviously they've planned. I was looking at the drainage and it looks like it's pretty well designed.
Yeah, it was the same. Peter Moak is his name. He's out of Mill Valley, and it's the same design as we kind of incorporating it into the existing drainage plan.
Great.
Yeah.
Any more questions for the applicant? No. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any comments on Zoom or questions from Zoom?
Hands in the audience on Zoom. And I am not seeing any raised hands in the audience on Zoom. No.
Great, thank you. So before I close the public portion, do you have any questions for staff? No? No? Okay, great. Then we'll bring it back for discussion. Anyone want to go first? Otherwise, maybe I'll start from the end. Max, do you want to?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, without having too much of personal knowledge around like the geotechnical implications, but I know Herzog is a good firm. All seems, pretty much well thought out. Given it was a new build, I'm sure this was something that was very much put into mind as you built the house, I would imagine. And given that there's no discontinuity with the neighbors, I see no reason to contradict staff's opinion that it should be approved subject to the conditions.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Jeff?
Having hired Herzog ourselves for our remodel 15 years ago, I can tell you they definitely are thorough and they put in like probably all the bells and whistles. So I have no issues. I mean, it's a hillside, and I think that looking at the drainage issues, I think that's really important for you. So you have peace of mind that it's not going to slide or anything, and it looks really well done. So no, I think it's a great project and it's very attractive. And I like your fencing. That fencing's great.
Thank you. Rob?
Having used Herzog multiple times on my own projects, he's a great engineer. And I think it'll really add to your house. So I have no issues either.
Liam? Liam?
Yeah, I guess unlike everyone else here, I am a civil engineer and I do soils and foundation work. But I don't really think that's our scope here to review the technical aspects of the geotechnical report. From a design review and slope use permit standpoint. I think it looks good. I think it's going to add to the house, and I'm glad that you were able to work with your neighbor to address the privacy concerns. I don't think you can really see it from the street too much, so I don't have an issue supporting the project.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm in agreement with my fellow commissioners. I can also make the findings for design review and the slope use permit in accordance with the staff report. Do we need to, or should we address the comments from the neighbor in the resolution, or, I mean, about putting the trellis up?
It sounds like they have an agreement between each other. But if you'd like to add it as a condition, if you feel there's a privacy concern that needs to be addressed, you could add it as condition. We
Okay.
have some suggested language if you want to do that, but
I think they've talked.
we didn't know that it would be necessary because it sounds like they're speaking with each other
Okay.
about it.
Okay, so if someone would like to make a motion? Anyone?
I move to approve item 23-0004, 3388 Britannia Way, subject to the conditions of approval provided by staff.
Can we have a second?
I'll second it.
And a roll call, please?
Chair Chalmers,
Yes.
Commissioner Swisher,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagstaff,
Yes.
Commissioner Williamson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Campbell.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously. And I can announce that the decision of the Planning Commission can be appealed to the City Council by filing an application for appeal or rehearing and fee with the city clerk within 10 days.
Great, thank you very much. We'll move on to our second item, which is 239 Via Larida, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, PLN 230021. And if we could please have the staff report.
Yes, good evening, Chair Chalmers, members of the Planning Commission. The item before you, as mentioned, is PLN 23-21 for 239 Via Larida. The project seeks to add 293 square feet to the existing single-family residence and requires a floor area exception to do so. And as Jackie mentioned earlier, because it requires that exception, it also requires design review approval. This is just the overhead view of the surrounding neighborhood. The addition is going to be on the northern side, just above the red little marker there. At project completion, the home would be 2,364 square feet, and the final height of the proposed addition would be 13 feet 5 inches. The height of the total home is 22 feet 3 inches and won't change because it's a split level home. That height measurement's taken from the side with the garage. The proposed finishes will match the existing finishes of the home, and staff believes that the project meets many of the design guidelines. Regarding the floor area exception, as shown in the provided floor area study, it's actually it has one of the lowest floor area ratios in the entire neighborhood, even though it's over. And the average for the neighborhood is 0.32, and at project completion, this would have a floor area ratio of 0.19. Staff recommends that the commission approve the project subject to findings and conditions of approval, as well as a Class 1 CEQA exemption. This concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions. I believe the owners in the audience and the architect is on the call as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex. Do we have any questions for staff? No, okay. So if the applicant or the architect would like to present? Did you say they were present?
Call. Let me see if he's got his hand raised. I don't know if Dave wants to say, I cannot remember, but yeah, there he is. Okay, you should be unmuted and able to speak. Oh, he's muted again.
Now can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. So I'm in the middle of nowhere with about one bar here on my cell phone trying to make this work. So is Tom in the audience there?
Yes.
Okay, Tom is there. Okay, great. So yeah, I don't have anything more to say about this really. It's just a very straightforward, simple project, single story. Just adding a bit of square footage to the existing entry level. And you know, we're keeping all the same materials, all the same colors. It's really straightforward, meeting all setbacks. So I'm glad to answer any questions, but there's not much more that hasn't been said.
Do we have any questions for the architect? No one? Okay. Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to comment? Either on Zoom or sounds like the applicants here. No,
I'm looking for any hands raised in the audience. I don't see any hands raised in the audience.
okay. Well, that was short and sweet. Thank you very much. We will now bring it for discussion.
Yeah, sure. I think that this goes back to our greater floor area ratio on a sloping lot discussion that we've kind of been having as a commission. I think this is a pretty modest addition, and proposed floor area ratio seems reasonable and in keeping with the rest of the neighborhood. It seems like something that, you know, it's a pretty minor addition, and the allowed floor area is relatively small because it's a sloping lot. So I think that given that, I think I can find in favor of the project. I think it kind of comes back to us as a commission to maybe revisit that. I think it's in the works, but yeah, TBD. So yeah, those are my comments.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a nice solution to the house, and it's not very impactful, and the issue of floor area on slopes does hang out there. And I think this is pretty modest relative to the rest of the neighborhood, so I have no problems with it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the house was built around 1960 and it was legal non-conforming, and it's small. It's a small house and they're doing a small addition. And I agree with the rest of the commissioners who have spoken before me. This is a very nice design. It's neat and compact and I like it. So no issues.
Thank you. Max?
Nothing incredibly material to add. Seems good, seems modest, low FAR relative to the neighborhood. Nothing to report.
Well, thank you to my fellow commissioners. Again, I've made it easy. There's nothing really for me to add either. I can also make the findings for design review and the FAR exception. It's a very logical and addition and makes sense here. So I think we can go straight into a motion. Someone would like to make one?
Sure, I'll go. I move to approve project number PLN 23-0021 at 239 Via Larita in Greenbrae, subject to the conditions provided by staff.
And a second?
Second.
And can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Chalmers,
Yes.
Commissioner Swisher,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagstaff,
Yes.
Commissioner Williamson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Campbell.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously. And the decision of the Planning Commission may be appealed to the City Council by filing an application for appeal or rehearing and fee with the city clerk within 10 calendar days.
Thank you. And we will move forward now to the business items. We can to the approval of the minutes of May 23. Do we have any questions on that? Otherwise, we could just have a motion.
I recuse since I wasn't here for that meeting.
Oh, okay. That's true.
I'll move approval of the minutes of May 23rd, 2023.
And a second, please.
I'll second.
Great, thank you.
Commissioner Chalmers.
Yes,
Commissioner Wagstaff,
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell,
Yes.
Commissioner Williamson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Swisher is recused.
thank you.
So the motion carries.
Great, thank you. And do we have any planning commissioners reports? Other than Australia?
Nice.
Anything?
I'm glad that Brock's comments about attending touch trucks made it into the minutes of last month.
That's great. Very important event for our community. I'm sure the parents all know about. In that case, can we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Wait. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And a second?
I'll second it.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. All right.